Prophet is perhaps the most difficult boss in the entire game if you go unprepared and without information about what his abilities are and his gimmicks. But don't worry, I'll help you out. Hi, I'm Epokk from the Game Guides, and this is my guide for the Prophet. So just like in my previous guides on bosses in the Darkest Dungeon, let's talk about everything you can expect while fighting the boss, and afterwards we'll run down everything you can do to turn the fight in your favor. The Prophet has basically two gimmicks. First of all, he stands behind three pews that have a lot of health. Breaking through them on Apprentice difficulty is doable, but on Veteran and Champion they can take such a beating that it feels like a waste of time, which you do not have. Because the three pews are standing in the first three slots, he's standing in the last spot with no way to get him closer to the front line. His second gimmick is where he marks one or two spots where your heroes are standing at the beginning of the turn. At the end of the round, he will use Rubble of Ruin. Basically, he will drop a part of the ceiling on whichever hero is standing in the highlighted spot. This does major damage and basically needs to be healed through and creates this sense of urgency. The type of sense that says, I need to kill this boss quickly because I can't keep taking this damage forever. If that attack isn't enough, he also does either one of these. So the eye on you, the Prophet will keep an eye on you, stressing one of your heroes and with a certain percentage to stun him. However, this skill doesn't make any damage, so only just worry about the stress. Fulminate, the Prophet will blight your entire party, so beware of that, especially when one of them is at death's door or just on very low health. Now, the fight with the Prophet doesn't actually change on any of the three difficulties. Basically, his damage output becomes higher, and the pews gain a ridiculous amount of health, making them practically not worth destroying. Essentially, to defeat this boss with a great team setup, you can divide this fight into two parts: keeping your party alive and killing the boss. I know that makes a lot of sense, just go with me. To keep your party alive, I once again recommend the Vestal for her healing abilities. She's basically a must-have in most boss fights. I would definitely have a second character help her because, well, there is quite a lot of damage coming your way. But which one you want to bring for that second slot depends on which of the two viable survival tactics you want to follow. Now, the first option you have is tanking through the damage by bringing a man at arms. He can guard a targeted party member, so effectively mitigating the incoming damage by quite a bit. He has quite a substantial health pool and protection stat, so he can take quite a beating. But my favorite strategy is reducing the boss's damage output. For this, an occultist is the best choice. While his healing is fairly untrustworthy, he can be a decent backup healer, but I prefer to bring him for his debuffs. Now, his weakening curse can reduce the damage of the rubble by quite a bit. That way you take less damage and your Vestal will have an easier time to keep everyone alive. Now, for a second part of the plan, killing the boss, you actually have a few options. Whichever damage dealers you want to bring, they need to be able to attack the last rank. Once again, a Plague Doctor is one of my preferred options. Infecting the boss with Blight is always an easy way to grind them down, but on the other hand, you can also bring an Arbalest with you to do some raw damage. A Hellion is also a great option, but unfortunately you can only use the Iron Swan ability where she needs to stand in the first rank to be able to reach that last spot. But the damage output is quite brilliant though. The Shieldbreaker is a paid DLC character, but she can easily reach any rank with a Pierce ability, which makes her quite valuable if you have her. Additionally, a Houndmaster is also a great option as he can easily establish a bleed effect on the boss, and in addition the dog can also guard your party members, though he will suffer more damage as he has less protection than a man of arms. These are the tricks I have used in the past to actually kill the Prophet. Now, while, for example, the second character to help out the Vestal with the healing might not be very important at the Apprentice, but while playing at the Champion difficulty or even the Veteran difficulty, those things become quite important. A great damage dealer like, for example, the Hellion, the Plague Doctor, the Shieldbreaker, the Houndmaster become really valuable, so you can burn them down really easily and quickly. Now, those are the tips I used. If you have any tips of your own, please share them in the comments down below. If you need some more help with some of the bosses in Darkest Dungeon, just please check out this playlist. But I want to thank you for watching. I want to wish you good luck, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.